Hi, 7th period. Happy Friday. I'm sure you're all ready for your weekend. So just go ahead and follow along with the video like you did yesterday. Before we get started, you're actually going to need 4 colored pencils, and they need to be 4 different colored pencils. If you want to share the same colors with your partner, you can, or you don't have to. But before we get started, go ahead and pause the video. Get your 4 colored pencils, or if you have 4 highlighters, whatever you'd like to use is fine as long as there's 4 different colors. So go ahead and pause the video and get the necessary materials that you need. Now that you're ready to get started and have all your materials, today we have 2 goals. The first one is to investigate the relationship between radius and area of circles, and to calculate the circumference and area of a circle. You should have a half sheet, and we're going to look at ZC20 first. What you're going to do is you're going to use a colored pencil, and in this case I actually used black for this one, to draw the radius twice at the right angle and label them R. One of them is actually already here. I'm just going to go ahead and add in the second one. So you should have an R here, and then extend this line out and put R there. You may want to just use a regular pencil for this part. Next, you're going to complete a square by drawing the last 2 sides. You have half a square here, so take your first colored pencil and complete the last two sides. Then you're going to shade the square you just drew, and we're going to call this a radius square. It should look like this. So as you can see, my square did go outside the circle, which is fine, because otherwise we wouldn't be making a square. What expression would represent the area of that square? So take a second, talk with your partner, and come up with an answer. If I wanted to tell you how to find the area of this square, what would your expression be? If you and your partner said R times R, because think about it, you'd be doing the base times the height, that would be correct. To simplify that, your answer would be R squared, because R times R equals R squared. Think about if you do 4 times 4 is 16, so 4 squared is 16. Next, use your second colored pencil to draw another radius square on your circle. If you look at mine, I've made a second radius square underneath my green one. Again, remember, if you need to pause the video to catch up with me, make sure you do that. Then, use your third colored pencil to draw another radius square on your circle. Use your fourth and final colored pencil to draw another radius square on your circle. Hopefully you stay in the lines a little bit better than I did. What is the total area of the squares? Talk with your partner and see if you can come up with an answer to this. If you think about it, we said this green one in the corner when we started was R squared. Since now we have more than one radius square, we have 4. The answer you and your partner should have came up with is 4r squared. Is the area of the circle greater or less than the area of the 4 radius squares? Talk with your partner and pick an answer. You should have said less than, since the whole circle fits inside the squares. There's extra space on the sides here, so the circle has to have an area less than 4 radius squared. We're going to now look at ZC21. You're going to use your 4 colored pencils again. On the second circle, draw 2 diameters at the right angle to form 4 radius triangles. That probably sounds very confusing, so this is what you're going to do. Okay, so you're just going to draw a diameter and extend it down and a diameter across. Then you're going to connect the endpoints to form 4 radius triangles. Just like I'm doing right now. What I would like you to do is pause the video and shade each of the radius triangles a different color. When you're ready, it should look something like this. Let's look at one individual triangle. Talk with your partner. What do you think the area of just this green triangle would be? Think about how we found the area of the radius square. Well, we would start out the same way, r times r, but it's a triangle, so do not make my head spin. Divide that by 2. Your simplified answer then, of course, would be r squared divided by 2, or you could say 1/2 r squared. So, if one triangle is 1/2 r squared, what is the total of all 4 radius triangles? Talk with your partner and come up with an answer. If you and your partner said 2 radius squared, you are correct, because if I put these 2 together and these 2 together, I would get a total of 2. How many radius squares are the 4 radius triangles equivalent to? Talk with your partner. Again, if you said 2, you are correct. If I put these 2 triangles together, they make 1 square. Same for these 2 over here. Is the area of the circle greater than or less than the area of the radius triangles 2r squared? This time, you should have said greater than, since all of the triangles fit inside the circle and there is extra space. We're now ready to fill out the toolkit portion of your materials. So your first blank is the area of a circle is the measure of the region inside it. To find the area of a circle when given the radius, use this formula. A equals pi times r, which is the same as pi r squared. Now think about this. We said the rough estimate of pi is 3. When we did the last two activities, 4 pi r squared was too much area and 2 pi r squared was not enough area. That's why our answer, or our formula, will be pi r squared. It's going to be right in the middle. So that makes sense for the amount of space that we have to fill. What you're going to do now is find the circumference and area of circles with the following information. Pause the video and go ahead and solve for each of these 3 examples. Make sure you give both the circumference and area. You should use 3.14 for pi. Go ahead and do that now. Now that you've had a chance to check, here are your answers. Now, I'm just going to give the answers. Remember, I should see formulas and your work just like you were solving an area problem. So here are your answers for circumference and area. Remember, area should be square inches. You have one last job to do for me today. You need to use your knowledge of area of a circle and the areas of other shapes to complete the back of the toolkit. Use 3.14 for pi and round to the nearest hundredth. Check your answers with a substitute. When you're finished, you can read a book or try the puzzles when you're finished. Please also make sure all colored pencils get back into the bins in the back of the room and not just left in my baskets. That's it. Have a great week at Kenbrook. I'll either see you out at camp or see you once we return. Thanks. Have a great weekend. Bye.